another Netflix original movie from another big Hollywood filmmaker. This time it's Paul Greengrass. Now, I gotta be honest, I've never been a huge fan of his, and after watching this I realized a lot of it probably has to do with his style, because I never cared for the Bourne movies. I thought Green Zone was kinda meh, and I like Captain Phillips to a certain degree, but even with that one, I just couldn't get immersed in it. And yeah, I think it basically boils down to his style. He shoots a lot of handheld stuff, which I've never been a huge fan of, but it's a little bit more than that. He has this kinda, I don't know, detached approach to filmmaking. Like, I think his style is supposed to make you feel like you're in there, in the middle of it all. And it's supposed to really immerse you. But for some reason, it pretty much has the opposite effect on me. It pulls me out of it. Except while there's action going on. But it doesn't help me connect with the characters. And I think that's the real issue for me with his style. And I really just noticed that in the first 30 minutes of this movie. You follow all these characters, but you don't really feel connected to any of them. Now, the action though, what little there is in this one, is pretty intense. And I guess I should get into what the movie is actually about too. It's about the mass killings in Norway back in 2011. And with a movie like this, I'm still not gonna go into details, but I'm gonna mention a couple of things that are very much public knowledge. Like the fact that the guy ended up killing a lot of people. Actually more than I even remembered. Most of them kids too. And in scenes where he's basically hunting them down. That was some pretty intense stuff, man. And what makes it even worse is that they're just kids. And he doesn't even know them. And just basically mows them down. And I don't know why, but all that somehow makes it so much worse than watching people get killed in most movies. Which usually doesn't even faze me a little bit at this point. And that's kinda crazy when you think about it. How desensitized to violence in movies we become. But this movie actually deals a lot more with the aftermath of the attacks than the actual attacks. Those happen in the first 30 minutes. And this thing is almost 2.5 hours long. So this is not really terror porn or anything like that. And I was actually a bit surprised by just how remarkably unsensationalized it was. They didn't play up the events or glorify them or invent a hero or really even vilify the guy that much. It felt very much grounded in reality and based on facts. Now, we do actually follow a character, one of the kids who got shot, and I don't know how much of his story is true, but he's sort of the protagonist, and I assume we're meant to root for him. The problem is, we don't really get to know the character before the attacks. We don't really get to see what he was like before. We really only know him after the fact. And at that point he's already a different person, changed by the events. And I think it would have been a lot more effective if you'd had more of a connection with the character, if you'd known him before the events. So I felt like that was a bit of an odd choice to make. Another odd choice was casting a bunch of Norwegians to speak English. I don't know, that felt a little bit weird to me. And it kinda added to the disconnect I felt with the movie. I was never really immersed in the story, which was a bit of a problem. And some of the supporting cast weren't really great, to be honest. Now, I will say it's not a bad movie. And I definitely teared up a little bit here and there. But it was mostly because of the connection to real life. And a little bit the actor playing the mom. She was pretty damn good actually. And the pacing of the movie was okay. But it definitely did feel like a bit of a longer movie. But it wasn't really an issue. I wasn't bored or anything. So overall I didn't love the movie. It has some issues, but it's decent. It's not bad. I don't know, would I recommend it? I mean, sure, it's fine. And it's definitely not your average Hollywood disaster drama. So there's that. So yeah, go watch it. Or don't. I'm not your dad.